Today we're talking all about Mighty Ukko. Hey, welcome, I'm LeilaFox. Today's lore story video is for Mighty Ukko. Mighty Ukko is the brand new legendary fragment fusion champ for September 2022. Now, what's really good about him is he's a skinwalker, and forever everybody's been asking for Raid to add in more skinwalker champs, especially this one. He's got a fantastic kit. But before we get into his lore story, let's check out the skinwalker faction lore as a whole. As told by the tragic legend of Cherokee, skinwalkers once had the power to cast themselves in the form of any man or beast. But after centuries of overuse, these shamans found themselves entrapped as something less than human, but more than animal. Though wild and dangerous, they can sense evil and may act to prevent it. Let's get into the lore story for Mighty Ukko from the Tellurian Lore Book of Champions. Ukko was an orc born on a distant island south off the coast of Karok. It was but one of many such isles, each a lush and verdant paradise that had once been the heartland of the Dragonkin Empire. But by the time of his birth, only legends remained. Ukko's clan made its home in the shadow of a once mighty fortress that had long crumbled into ruin. His clanmates knew Ukko as a kind-hearted and loyal youth whose endless curiosity was matched only by his appetite. An intelligent and perceptive lad, he caught the eye of the clan shaman and soon became his apprentice. From that old orc, Ukko learned all he knew of poultices, brews, both alchemic and recreational, and spirit lore. He was a talented learner indeed, and would have made a wise shaman in time, but not even the wisdom of the ancestors could have prepared Ukko for the calamities fate had in store. During one of his forays into the jungle in search of rare ingredients, Ukko had lost his way and wandered deep into the wilderness. There, the remains of an ancient temple still stood amid the jungle. None shall know what lore lay hidden within its vaults, but it did not remain unguarded. Our gargantuan boar ambushed Ukko before the vine-choked gates of the temple. It was larger than any beast he had ever seen. Its tusks were like glaives, and its bloodshot eyes burned with madness. There was no escape. A battle to the death was inevitable. And what a fierce battle it was. Ukko may have been a shaman's apprentice first and a warrior second, but he was as mighty as he was crafty. The boar soon lay slain, albeit Ukko had suffered injuries too, and his world faded to black. When he awoke, he found himself within the temple sanctuary, lying flat on his face, surrounded by smashed pillars and statues. His body ached as if he had walked through flames, and when Ukko gazed into a still spawn glittering in the moonlight that illuminated the chamber, he saw a face that was no longer his. A monstrous boar stared back at him from the water, a beast with bloodshot eyes and vicious tusks. At once, rage awoke in Ukko's heart, and he lost track of time once more. Again, he woke far from the place where memory left him, surrounded by signs of his rampage, broken trees and lumps of earth torn from the ground. Worst of all, that same rage still simmered within. Ukko could feel the mad beast clawing at his mind, seeking even the slightest weakness to break free. He knew then that the monster he had fought was a skinwalker, a terrible creature of ancient myths his mentor spoke of with fear and loathing, and that now he bore the curse also. Ukko realized he could not return to his clan. He would not trust himself before the fearsome beast inside him was tamed, nor did he believe his kin would accept the monster he had become. And so it was that Mighty Ukko traveled north to the bountiful lands of Arabia, where he hoped to learn what he could of his affliction and ways to fight it. His adventures had only just begun. Alright, so that was the story for Mighty Ukko, and I have to say what I really like about it is I think it fits the whole skinwalker faction lore pretty well, because here we have a champ who actually starts out as not a skinwalker, he's an orc. And we do have very few, like not many, but there's very few other stories as well, such as the Brother Bears as another example. Also, Brachus the Shifter's another one, where they start out as not skinwalkers. If I remember correctly, the Brother Bears and Brachus actually start out as humans. And in this case, we have Ukko that started out as an orc. And they go through his story. And I like how they get to the point how he goes near this temple, and there's this kind of boar beast that he ends up fighting. And they don't really get into the lore of this, which I think is kind of cool and adds to the whole mystery and allure of this. But the fact that he kills the boar Now he's cursed and becomes this crazy boar himself, loses control, blacks out. It's so interesting because again, it kind of fits this whole skinwalker lore where they used to be able to shift from potentially human to skinwalker, or they say that it gets to the point where they're no longer able to control themselves and the animal or the beast within them starts to take over. So I think it's a very, very interesting story of how Mighty Ukko becomes the pig that we see here. Leave me some comments down below. Let me know what you think for the story of Mighty Ukko. Hey, check out some more videos up here in the playlist in the top right.